polished buckle, every smooth white leather panel, lies an industry that turns raw bull hides and horns into luxury.
Today, we'll open the doors of a white bullhorn leather factory and follow the full process, start to finish. From industrial giants that treat thousands of hides a week to small teams finishing each product by hand.
But this story doesn't start at the factory gate. It begins far away, with a living white bull on a ranch.
You see the finished goods in upscale boutiques and online catalogs, often without thinking about what they're made from.
That buttery soft white leather and those glossy horn details come from white bulls specifically selected for their hides and horns.
In this video, we'll connect the dots from animal to airplane, from tannery to luxury workshop.
We'll see how white bulls live on open ranches, how their hides and horns travel by carcaplane.
We'll step through tanning, horn shaping, precision cutting, hand stitching, and final finishing for million-dollar collections.
Inside the tannery, chemistry and heavy machinery work together to turn perishable hides into durable, supple leather.
At the same time, bull horns are cleaned, softened, shaped, and polished into buttons, buckles, combs, and decorative pieces.
Throughout, modern factories follow strict hygiene, safety, and traceability standards to manage this complex process.
The factory near the airport is the central hub. We source the Limousin bulls from these distant ranches, flying them in on the cargo planes here.
To understand the value of the final goods, we first need to understand the world of the white bull itself.
White bulls are often raised on open ranches with plenty of space, fresh air, and natural grass.
Ideal conditions include stable weather, low stress, and open movement, which all influence hide quality.
Smooth, evenly colored hides with minimal scars are especially prized for high-end white leather goods.
Clean water and balanced feed help keep the animals healthy and support the development of strong skin and horns.
Shade and shelter protect bulls from extreme sun, which can otherwise damage skin and affect hide quality.
Their horns, made of keratin like human nails, vary in color and pattern, creating unique horn pieces later on.
Ranchers guide the herd with quiet routines, keeping animals calm so they stay easier to handle and less likely to injure themselves. Fences and large paddocks divide sections of pasture, allowing grass to recover and keeping bulls in designated areas.
In addition to grass, supplemental feed can be given to balance nutrition, especially in dry seasons.
Ranch staff and veterinarians carry out regular health checks to monitor weight, condition, and overall well-being.
Each bull is usually identified with a tag or digital record, which later helps trace hides and horns through the supply chain. Ranches are set up with open grazing areas and dedicated handling zones to move animals with minimal stress.
From the bull's perspective, this is a familiar environment of routine sounds, scents, and herd mates. This open landscape is where the story of white bull leather and horn truly begins, long before any factory machinery. Natural behavior like rubbing and sparring lightly shapes the horns that will later be transformed into decorative pieces.
Strong legs and solid frames are signs of healthy animals, and these traits often go hand in hand with robust hides.
When the time is right, factory procurement staff arrive at the ranch to begin the selection process.
Their job is to choose animals that meet strict requirements for hide quality, size, and condition.
Factory buyers work closely with ranchers, comparing animal records with what they see in the field.
They visually inspect the herd, looking for uniform color, good body condition, and minimal visible scars. Texture and thickness of the hide are checked by touch, giving an early sense of leather potential. Once chosen, bulls are moved in small groups through wide alleys designed to reduce stress and slipping. Holding corrals give workers a controlled space to prepare for the next step, secure transport.
Bulls are guided patiently into the crates, which give them enough room to stand and shift their weight.
From the ranch, the crated animals are driven to a nearby cargo airport for the next leg of their journey.
Here, rural landscapes give way to highways and hangars as the story shifts from pasture to logistics.
Waiting for them is a specially scheduled cargo aircraft, prepared to transport the bulls to the factory's region. Inside, anchor points and ventilation ensure crates stay secure, with fresh air circulating throughout the flight.
Each crate is loaded using forklifts and dollies, balancing careful handling with efficient timing.
Row by row, the bulls are positioned inside the plane, with enough space for airflow and access. With loading complete and doors sealed, the aircraft prepares for takeoff. For hours, the bulls travel high above mountains and cities, unaware of the changing world below.
The route is planned to minimize travel time, reducing stress, and keeping logistics predictable.
As the aircraft descends, another landscape comes into view, the manufacturing hub, where hides and horns become products.
Crates are carefully unloaded, one by one, and transferred onto waiting transport vehicles.
Workers at the receiving center wear dedicated gear to keep this area clean and controlled. Next, the bulls move through a washing area designed to gently remove surface dirt and debris.
This washing step reduces contamination and prepares the hides and horns for later handling.
In those controlled areas, animals are processed, and their hides and horns are prepared as raw materials for tanning and horn work.
We rejoin the story here, where white bull hides, preserved with salt, arrive at the main tannery floor.
Beside them, cleaned horns are ready for a parallel journey into polished accessories and hardware.
The tannery is where hides stop being perishable skins and start becoming long-lasting leather.
First, salted hides are removed from cold rooms and moved towards rehydration.
They're loaded into giant drums or pits, where clean water slowly brings back their flexibility.
Rotation helps water penetrate evenly, dissolving salt and loosening dirt from the hide surface.
After hours of soaking, hides emerge heavier and hydrated, ready for deeper cleaning.
The hide is fed through rotating blades that scrape away unwanted material while preserving thickness.
Trimmings are separated and can be processed into byproducts like gelatin or fertilizer in other facilities.
In the drum, a controlled mixture of lime and other agents breaks the bond between hair and skin.
Over several hours, the cocktail of chemicals and motion prepares the hides for hair removal. The swollen hides are then passed through machines that physically remove loosened hair.
Removed hair is collected and sent for separate treatment or disposal according to regulations.
Freshly unhaired hides go through deliming and baiting to gently bring pH down and smooth the grain.
Technicians monitor pH and softness to make sure hides are ready for the actual tanning step.
A chromium-based solution penetrates the hide fibers, binding with them and stopping natural decay.
Carefully timed cycles ensure each hide absorbs the correct amount of tanning agent.
When they emerge, the hides are called wet blue and are officially transformed into leather.
Pressing removes excess moisture so the leather can be split and shaved more precisely.
A splitting machine divides each hide into layers, separating premium top grain from lower layers.
Shaving further evens out thickness, making the material uniform across the whole hide.
Inside rotating drums,
Dye penetrates deep into the fibers to achieve consistent color.
After dyeing, excess liquid is removed and the leather is prepared for drying and finishing. In some systems, hides are clipped on frames, gently stretched as they dry to maintain shape. Drying tunnels use controlled temperature and airflow to dry leather evenly without cracking.
Once dry, the leather is tested for feel and flexibility to match the standards of luxury goods.
Mechanical staking softens the material further, breaking internal stiffness while preserving strength.
Finishing lines apply protective and aesthetic coatings to control gloss, color, and resistance.
Embossing rollers can add a delicate pattern or help correct minor surface variation. Minor defects are marked, so pattern cutters later avoid them when planning pieces.
Graded stacks are labeled with full traceability data, linking them back to specific white bull batches.
From raw hide, the process has produced consistent, premium white bull leather, waiting for the next transformation. In a nearby hall, another team focuses on the bull's horns, turning them into high-value details.
Horns are sorted by length and color, matching pieces to future uses like buckles, buttons, or combs.
Chalk lines indicate where each horn will be cut to maximize usable material and match design dimensions.
Bandsaws cut the curved horn into manageable sections that can be flattened or turned.
Softened pieces are pressed flat to form plates that can later be cut into shapes.
As they cool, the plates hold their new flat form, ready to be cut into smaller components.
CNC tools cut precise shapes, from small buttons to intricate inlays for luxury items.
Other horn segments are turned on lathes to become knobs, beads, or rounded hardware elements.
Sanding and polishing gradually reveal the natural gloss and pattern buried within the horn. Polished components are graded and sorted, so designers can select just the right ones for each product.
Horn buckles and accents are matched with white leather strips to create coordinated sets.
Some horn plates are combined with metal or other materials to form luxury eyewear or branded tags.
Buttons and closures are drilled and cleaned, ensuring they can be sewn securely onto finished goods. By the end, simple horns have become hundreds of refined pieces for fashion, accessories, and home goods.
Now, both horn components and white bull leather move into the heart of the factory, the luxury goods workshop. Here, craftsmen and machines work side by side to create high-end bags, belts, and wallets, and more.
Designers start with sketches and prototypes that take full advantage of white leather and horn accents.
Pattern makers carefully place templates to avoid defects and maximize usable area.
High-speed blades cut clean edges for panels, straps, and gussets with millimeter accuracy.
Cut pieces are sorted into kits, each bin holding all parts needed for one bag or batch of belts.
Edges are skived thinner so seams will fold and stitch more neatly.
Contact adhesives temporarily hold layers together before stitching, keeping lines straight.
Industrial sewing machines build the main structure, using thick thread for strength and style.
Even stitch length and alignment are crucial details that distinguish luxury goods from ordinary ones.
Some stress points are reinforced by hand, using traditional saddle stitching techniques. Here, horn buckles meet white bull leather straps to form distinctive belts.
Horn buttons and tabs give bags subtle visual contrast and a unique tactile feel.
Edge painting seals and colors cut edges, protecting them while enhancing appearance. Burnishing tools polish the edges until they are smooth and slightly rounded to the touch.
Brand logos or subtle markings are heat stamped onto the leather, often in metallic foil for contrast.
Before leaving the line, every item is wiped, checked, and polished to remove any fingerprints or dust.
Tags highlight the material and traceable origin, connecting the final product back to the animals we saw earlier.
Together, these pieces form coordinated collections that can be worth millions of dollars when sold worldwide.
Inside and out, details like horn zipper pulls and carefully lined pockets show the depth of craftsmanship.
Finished goods are immediately placed in protective covers to keep them pristine before packaging.
Even small horn and leather accessories are boxed with care, reinforcing the sense of luxury.
From here, the products are only a few steps away from traveling again, this time to stores instead of factories.
They check stitching, edge finishing, hardware function, and horn components for chips or cracks.
Labels show destination cities, shipping instructions, and tracking codes used by logistics partners. From the factory, shipments travel by road, sea, or air again, this time heading to distribution centers and boutiques.
Eventually, these pieces appear on polished shelves, far removed from the ranches and factories behind them. When you fasten a belt or pick up a bag like this, you're holding the end of a long, precise process spanning continents.
From white bulls grazing under open skies to skilled hands, this is how a modern factory turns